Therapy Army! Let's be having you, Therapy Army. Let's be having you. How we doing, guys? Welcome to Barcelona, Manchester United versus Barcelona preview. Hey, there a couple of people are getting giddy in here, getting giddy. Wembley, where the famous man. Hey, there we go. Big up, Steve. Big up, pleasure. Liverpool got the hell out of beating them off. Yeah, we need to concentrate on our own. Where is the next season? Istanbul? Book the hotel. Aged like milk. Okay. Liverpool are falling apart again. Big up. No one wants to buy them. Modric is a wizard. That's what happens when you have ballers in your team. Win matches. These Glazers need to go ASAP. Wow. Liverpool 5-2 is how it was. Guys, please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Welcome, people. Welcome. Big up to everybody. Big up to everybody. Jump on if you can. Jump on if you can, Mundo. Jump on if you can. If you can, man. Big up to everybody. Let's go, people. Let's get into it. Tom, jump on, pal. There you go. No. Let's get rid of that. Hey, and I thought I should add that in there. That quote in there, eh? That quote in there. Tom, if you want to jump on, fella, it'd be good to hear your point of view on the latest, pal. Looks like, yeah, we got the preview coming up for you guys. Preview. And also, it looks like the Glazers ain't going nowhere. Glazers finding ways to stay at Man United. So it looks like Man United are going to be shafted forever and ever. That's what it looks like it. So big up to you all. But yeah, Barcelona. Where do we get into it? Barcelona. Barcelona. I'm just gonna get this, so just bear with me 1 minute, people. I'm just gonna go and get the charger because the battery's about to die. So just bear with me 1 moment. Big up Bumbaye, big up Malcolm. Bumbaye, jump on. Tom, where are you? Tom, come back. Mundo, if you're around, jump on again. Sorry, battery died for 2 seconds there. We're still live. There you go. Here comes Tom. Let's get into this. Big up HK Music. I would have taken Benzema over Kane any day. Winning mentality cannot be taught in the blood. It's in the blood. Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like. Yeah, I honestly, I'm quite shocked after just seeing the result. I went to watch a film and then my computer's acting all funny. So the past 10 minutes I've been trying to sort it out, people. But I left the game, Liverpool, when it was 2-0 to Liverpool. I think they were first 20 minutes or 10 minutes, they went 2-0 up. Like,
do you know Liverpool made a new record, boys, tonight? First team in the history of the Champions League to be leading by 2-0 and then lose by 3-goal margin. You'll never walk alone.
Oh
somebody post the Samaritans number, man. Somebody post the Samaritans number. They're going to need it.
You know the funniest thing is that I actually think that Madrid have been horrendous this season. They've not been that great.
But I think
have you seen Liverpool recently, bro?
I think that's just how they play. But you know, Madrid, right? They're so unpredictable, right? Like it's like even if you go 2-0 up, it's still danger. Like
it's just the heritage of that club. That's
exactly.
That's the thing. Yep.
It's the quality that they have that gets them back into the game. So even if you get 2-0 up, 3-0 up, like you still have to be aware of the quality that they have because The second half. Yep.
But guys, listen, we don't want to become one of them. We don't want to be celebrating Liverpool.
Yeah.
We need to talk about we've got bigger issues to fry with than Man United.
Yeah, let's focus on Thursday.
So big up Hundo.
Well, no, hang on. We have been in the mud for 10 years. Right? Now it's time for somebody else's turn. We're passing the baton over to the
Slinging mud, yeah? Slinging mud.
No, so they were taking pity on us when we were in the mud, mate. So the fact that my team's doing well and other teams are suffering, I'm going to enjoy it.
Okay. Well,
you know what? Last thing on Liverpool. Last thing on Liverpool. Whenever Liverpool get beat, they got club popped. That's the word.
Right. Let me say this, right? Genuinely, guys, if Man United were winning titles, I'm all for banter, but Man United are not winning titles. So at the end of the day, I can't banter anyone because for 10 years, we've got the people who will banter us the most are the Glazers. And on good information, I'm hearing they're changing their mind about selling this football club. And that's what everybody's pointing to. Even so much so that they have actually come out with the news and they lost so many points of their New York Stock Exchange shares dropped. And for them to do that, to make the share drop, look like they want to stay just like Liverpool owners. But we'll come to that in a minute. But we'll talk to it. Mundo, you were at the game. Obviously, some of you guys watched the Barcelona game. What shape are Man United going into Barcelona versus Manchester United at Old Trafford? And then we can go around. That's a question to all of you, by the way, to all of you.
We're in good shape. We're in good shape, aren't we? We're in good shape. The thing is, Ten Hag, everything he's doing at the moment is working. Like, you know, McTominay is an option. Actually, he's an option again, right? Despite people not liking him, I just think this manager knows how to get players to do a certain job for him. You know, I'm getting Fergie vibes. I don't want to get too gassed, but Fergie was the same. Not all of the players, 11 players that Fergie had were superstars. You know, you could trust certain players within the squad to come and do a job. And he's playing guys in positions we never thought he would play. Like, you're playing Bruno Fernandes as a right winger. Sancho wins number 10. Frankie de Weghorst, that's what I'm calling him now. Frankie de Weghorst, mate.
Sure, at left centre-back. Who would have thought that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's total football. He's showing us Dutch total football here with players that, let's be honest, I don't think many of us would have had the technical ability or the mental ability to be able to adapt to all these different positions. Even within games, he's changing formation. Weghorst is going from a 9 to a 10. We're going to a 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. Tactically, technically flexible. All within 6 months. I mean, I can't say too much. This guy's just unbelievable in terms of what he's done in the space of 6-7 months. So going into Barcelona, we have to be confident. I mean, Barcelona's not Barcelona. They're not, you know, we saw what Madrid did to Liverpool today. It's not going to be a walk in the park. They're still a very good team and they've got quality. But I think my team can go toe to toe with anyone at the moment. That's how confident they're playing at the moment.
You're muted.
Yeah, I'll go to Tom. Tom, let's go around that quickly. So what do you think? What shape are we into? Because obviously, look what's happened to what Real Madrid has done to Liverpool. Could you see that? Well, are we overly confident because of one game at UEFA Lola's ground, home ground? Because that's what they called it, UEFA Lola. I don't know them as Barcelona anymore. UEFA Lola. Can UEFA Lola with their referees smash us tomorrow? What do you reckon? Are we overconfident in this game?
I don't think we're overconfident, no, because we've been going into games like this. Like, you rewind this game this time last year, we would have been absolutely bricking it at the end of the day. I think we deserve to have a bit of confidence and we should have a bit of swagger about how we are and stuff, because we have a confidence in this team that they're going to turn up and perform at the end of the day. And it's not about, you know, being the best of your ability for 90 minutes, because against Barcelona, I don't expect, you know, the masterclass performance. I expect a performance that's good enough and fitting enough to win the game. And in these big European ties, nobody ever plays 100% well. Like, so for example, we took the Madrid game, for example. Madrid won't be happy that they've shipped 2 goals. Albeit they've scored 5, they won't be happy that they've shipped 2. And they had to come back from that in the beginning. And they got caught off guard in the first 20 minutes of the game. And in the same sort of fitting and style in this game, in the Camp Nou, we grew into the game. But this time, we've got the fans behind us. We're under the lights at Old Trafford. You know, I don't think we've lost there. You know, we've not lost at home, you know, pretty much all season if in regards to since the Brighton game. So Old Trafford has become our fortress at the moment, and we are picking up points and we are taking teams on. And I have confidence in this team because before I looked at it and thought we didn't really have the options that could cover in certain positions and things. Like Mundo's just said, you have players like McTominay back. He's not the superstar that, you know, we probably should have at this football club, but he's a body. He's somebody that can at least bring something to the team, and it covers ourselves in terms of fatigue, injuries, and things like that. And, you know, going into such a this game, and obviously we've got the cup final, which I'm sure we'll get onto as well. It doesn't. But I think it's a big week for Manchester United. It is effectively season defining. But I think even with this squad, I think they will want to stay in this competition, obviously. And the way Ten Hag's mentality is as a manager is, it doesn't matter what competition it is, we want to win, and we want to keep the run going. And if it leads us to the final, it leads us to glory. It leads us there, doesn't it? At the end of the day, it's that kind of manager. But no, I think we deserve to have the confidence and the optimism going into the game. Got a lot of informed players at the moment who are doing the thing. Brilliant, you know, team goal like we saw against Leicester, for example. That third goal as well, completely ripped Leicester absolutely to pieces. And the chances we had in the Camp Nou, if we can put them away at Old Trafford, and we can build the atmosphere and the hostility in the ground, I don't think Barcelona will be able to deal with it, in my opinion, anyway. Because you ain't going to play tiki-taka at Old Trafford, because the Ten Hag ball ain't going to let it when you're pressing from the front and you're going all at them. And like I say, if we're conservative in the game and we just go at them at the key moments in the game, I think we'll beat them. Because I just think we can deconstruct teams now, and there is that confidence and that enthusiasm in our play at the moment. You're on mute, Rudin.
Sorry, go ahead, Malcolm. We'll go to Malcolm. Malcolm, are we overconfident? Look what Madrid have done to Liverpool tonight. Are we way too overconfident because of just we played well in one game at their ground?
Honestly, I think look, you know, we should be confident because, you know, because of the way we're playing right now. And I mean, yes, we can look at, you know, Madrid's game and say, oh yeah, you know, we can all be happy and excited because Liverpool, you know, are losing. But, you know, we have to remember that, you know, we haven't played like this for a while now. So the fact that, you know, we've even gone to the Camp Nou and even put in a, you know, at least a decent performance just shows, you know, the levels we are at right now. And I'm not saying that we're at a high level, but we're, you know, we're creating something that, you know, can benefit us for the long term. So to me, if you can just, you know, keep our shape, you know, stay focused, you know, don't let Barca, get a lot of the space, you know. We shouldn't let Barca. One thing is that, you know, we shouldn't respect Barca too much. You know, we have to go there, you know, with the mentality that, you know, we're gonna win. So yeah, to me, it's just, you know, go there, go out there, you know, and just, you know, get the win. So, you know, do the job. So that's all I have to say.
Right, Bumbaye, go ahead. To ask you if Man United are overconfident, you're the giddiest, most overconfident Man United fan I know. So let's see how you answer this one. By the way, listen, Xavi bottled it at Camp Nou. He won't this time. Balde and Torres start, and we'll be on the back foot. What do you think about that?
Just moving on from what everybody's saying, just to echo it and move it further along a little bit. I think you guys go to the stadium often, and used to talk a lot about how the players were nervous because the crowd was nervous, and the crowd was nervous because the players were nervous. That seems to have been dissipating as the season is progressing, and we are going into games now with a bit of a swagger that harkens back to the days of Sir Alex Ferguson, where we had expectations of getting results. We weren't going in waiting to go a goal down and then start playing, getting that bad blood out of our system. That seems to have gone. And we're on an extended run now. There is a trend forming. And what's good about this trend is when we slip up, we come back strong. It's not a prolonged lull of bad results. So I think it is important that you go in as fans, as players, as a club, with the belief that you can go at our home ground and do these. They're a good side. We could lose this tie, but it's all right to be confident. You have to be confident. You know what I mean? If you're not confident, you're not going to go nowhere. And ultimately, we have the right to be confident because we played them without our midfield, essentially. No Eriksen, no Casemiro. And we did them. That's you know what I mean? The players themselves said, felt like a loss. Should have, if we were finishing, if we were clinical, tie could have been done. Yeah, we had to ride the storm at the end, but that's what happens when you don't take chances to absolutely kill the game. So going into this, I'm confident. I think, you know what? I'm not going to say anything too much. It's a difficult tie. This is Barcelona, end of the day. They do have good players, but I'm confident we can go and finish the job, man. And I hope we do, because I like this competition. I like all the competitions at this point because of where we are as a club. I really want to win this one. I want to win the Carabao Cup. I want to win any trophies, because for me, trophies are vital for this team to come out of the shadow of the past, of our greatness of the past, and start to forge their own legacies and start to lift trophies as a team and get the feel and the flavour of it again.
Focus the people in the chat. I'm going to stay with you, Bumbaye. I want to focus the people in the chat. Guys, this is a preview to UEFA Lola. So let's get into it. Stop talking about Liverpool, man. We're not here for Liverpool. This is not a Liverpool channel. They've got beat, so what? We're not winning trophies. To me, if when Man United start winning trophies and Liverpool are in trouble, trust me, you won't be able to shut me up. We're not winning anything. We've won one Europa League, one FA Cup, and one League Cup in a decade, while they've won the Champions League, while they've gone to 3 Champions Leagues finals, and they've won Champions League, they won the league. So we've got nothing to say to them. Seriously, we haven't. We need to get focused, and we've got bigger issues like the effing Glazers, what we're going to come on to in a minute. But I'm going to stay with you, Bumbaye. Obviously, they have Gavi and Pedri both out, but apparently the wonder midfield player is coming back. What's his name? The guy that's part of the trio. It was Xavi, Iniesta, and
is it
Busquets?
Ansu Fati?
Said I?
Busquets.
Yeah, Busquets apparently coming back. They have got an incredible squad. You know what I mean? To me, there's no weaker Barcelona team. I don't know what weaker Barcelona is. How many players they've signed in the summer? How many players they have? So, in terms of what you think, we've got McTominay back. He played for 20 minutes the other night. Sabitzer obviously is not cup tied anymore. So is Sabitzer and Losandro Martinez are not cup tied. No, Casemiro he played the first leg anyway. He was just banned in the league. He was banned in the league.
Okay.
It was like Leicester, he was banned in the league, but he played in the first game. So in terms of midfield, we've got now Sabitzer, McTominay, Fred, Casemiro available, and Martinez. So Martinez and Sabitzer missed the game because they were both.
What's the question?
So,
They were banned.
in terms of the options that we have, and them being in terms of weakness, what is your preferred midfield that you would like to see to play against Barcelona on Thursday? And who should be up front? Do you want Rashford up front, or do we need to keep workhorse in the team?
That's a good question, man. Play your best team. That's how I see it anyway. You know what I mean? Play your best team. We're lucky. I think we've got, this squad doesn't need major surgery. Ten Hag has got some good depth in defence. He's got good depth in midfield. The only thing this team really lacks is a deadly striker. That, you know, you could improve, obviously, maybe in one or two areas, but our team is a good team, a good squad, good depth in certain areas. Not of the quality of Man City, but certainly, you know, what's comparable to teams around us. And the fact that they're missing players plays in our favour, and we'll take that all day long. We're at a good moment in the season where everybody seems to be coming back now. We've been successful without certain players. So for me, I really like what Weghorst does. Just depends on what Erik ten Hag is thinking of doing in this game. He seems to just go and want to play. I think we have to start fast. You can't do a Leicester because, you know what, they will be coming to play as well. One goal and the game changes. So we need to start fast. Rashford, you know what? Sancho on the left, Rashford in the middle. Anthony's not available, is he? Then put Bruno on the right. Put Bruno on the right and put Casemiro. Casemiro with Fred. I think that's what I'd start with. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Quickly, Malcolm, who you starting in midfield? And does Workhorse start for you to go with Rashford on his own up top?
Midfield, I'll start Fred, Casemiro. Wait, is Sabitzer back or is he not in the squad?
Yeah,
No, he's back. He's back from
He's back.
suspension.
Okay, I guess I'll play Fred, Casemiro, and Sabitzer. And then I'll still play Workhorse just because of the creativity. So yeah, I'll cut Workhorse and Rashford, like two both up front. Yeah. So, oh, you muted.
What about you, Tom?
Me personally, I would play Bruno, Casemiro, and Sabitzer in a midfield three, and obviously you can have Weghorst can transition to number 10, and you can switch Rashford around in different parts of the game. But I think from a tactical point of view, use Weghorst as a pressing outlet at number 10 when you're being defensive. When you're going forward, you're going to need him to hold the ball up for you and get the ball higher up the field and higher up the pitch. So in that case, you could operate Bruno as a false nine, or you play him out wide right, given the fact that Antony's not available at the moment in time. And we saw in the Camp Nou when he had that space to put balls in the box where he created a brilliant the threaded pass through for, Weghorst, which unfortunately didn't take in that case. But a different player in that situation, maybe a Rashford or a Sancho or somebody in that scenario or that situation, they might take the ball away this time round. So I just think keep disciplined players, and I think we need smart players in there. I think Fred did the job that he needed to do in the Camp Nou, but we needed the legs in that game with how big the pitch is and how far that can get stretched in that game, and I think Fred brought us that. But for me, Sabitzer can bring that, tenfold. The guy can run, and play 2 games back to back, and he doesn't break a sweat. And I think his performance at the weekend, anyway, established why he should play with Casemiro and Fernandes at this moment in time. And Fred's not a bad option, I don't think. Even McTominay as well, like Mundo said earlier. Those two coming off the bench, if you need to solidify a game or add some more legs to the midfield or overload the midfield, then you've got 2 midfield options there. And suddenly we've got some players back now where a couple of games ago and maybe a week or so ago, we were wondering, well, we've only got 3 midfielders available, either through injuries or suspensions. Now we've got the options that we can utilise, and Ten Hag's kind of got a bit of wiggle room where he can, manoeuvre around and different things and that. But I think he'll keep it's a similar lineup to what he did the first time round, but I think he'll make a couple of different changes to freshen it up. And yeah, he probably will have one eye on the Carabao Cup if we're being honest. But at the end of the day, get through this game first, and then we can prioritise other games, because I think he'll have learned from his lesson with the Arsenal game when we played Crystal Palace, we took his eye off the ball, and we paid the price for it in that game. And then in the Arsenal game, like I say, it was all for nothing when we had one eye on that. Same thing in this game. Don't have your eye on the trophy with the Carabao Cup because we're not even at Wembley yet. And God forbid something could happen to some of these players in the game on Thursday, and some of our squad could be out for that game at Wembley. So take it game by game, keep disciplined, and just stick to the game plan that he sets out, because I trust Ten Hag's game plan, especially at Old Trafford anyway, because the way he utilises every inch of the pitch as well, and we stretch teams. I think it's very key in terms of the width that we can use. And then it's a case of getting the ball in the right area in the 18-yard box to one of our attackers to net the ball in the net.
Yeah. Mundo, I'll go to you. Mundo, shoot. Obviously, Tom has already answered the question that I was going to ask. But who are you starting? Who are you starting in midfield? Are you starting Workhorst? Are you playing Rashford and then Sancho like the last half in that second half? That's the number 10. Who are you starting? This Workhorst getting this team. Obviously, Varane comes back, you would think Martinez, Varane, Sabitzer, Casemiro. Some people Tom chose. What's your midfield dynamic? And obviously, the inverted number 10 that Sancho played when we were there on Sunday. I know you like the look of that. I know you like the way that the pockets of space he was finding, and how then he was knitting the play because people are closer to him. Would you like to see that again in a game that's actually a bit more slower than the Premier League? Because it's not going to be as high tempo as the Premier League. But like the first leg showed it. So who are you picking in midfield and up front, and what changes are you making? And then the second question, we're going to stay with you, is there something to prioritize? Because some of the fan base, I'm not asked about you wrote some League Cup, Mundo. For me, it's not a League Cup, whether United win or lose. They're not going to tell me about what Eric Ten Hag's done or not. It doesn't put a dent on the progress that he's made for me, because it's a one game. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So, yeah. Well, some fans are so like they're starving. They're going cold turkey. You know what I mean? They're doing "Don't be a menace if you're drinking juice in South Central LA." That type of turkey, if you know what I mean. Those of you who know. So some of our fans are like that 100%. So do you prioritize? But the first question, what's the midfield you're picking and the upfront you're picking?
If it was me, and it all depends on how ready Sancho is to start to play 90 minutes, because I would be tempted to do similarly to what we did, because Busquets, everything goes through Busquets. That's the way Barcelona play. Yeah, whoever's playing in that pivot, the CDM for them is the controls the game, is the maestro. So that's been Busquets over many years. If he doesn't play, then they put Frankie De Jong in there. I would want Fred on them to disrupt them. So I would probably go with, believe it or not, I'd put Fred in the 10, and I'd play Sabitzer and similar to what we did against Tottenham. I'd play Casemiro and Sabitzer, and Fred advanced just to disrupt and harry and hustle, which I know Weghorst can do, but I want some pace up front. So I play Rashford down the middle, Sancho left, and Fernandes on the right. That's how I would set up against Barcelona, because I think we're not gonna have more possession than them. We're going to be playing on a break. We're going to be playing counter-attacking football. So that's what I want. That's what I think would be the right setup for that particular game. But the second point about prioritizing, if we get to 90 minutes, I want David De Gea to throw the ball in the net. Seriously, I don't want to go to 120 minutes, because there's no away goal rule. So if we're drawing and it goes to extra time, we're screwed, because the players are going to be knackered for Sunday. So if we get to that, I'd rather lose over 90 minutes. We have to go all out and try and win in 90 minutes, win or lose. We can't afford to go to extra time, because an extra half an hour of football in their legs going into a final. Nah, we can't have that. So I'd throw the game. I don't give a damn. I hope De Gea spills the ball into the net if it's like 90, going extra time.
Okay. That's a really fascinating, interesting, because you went for the Spurs where you don't want Fred anywhere near in that midfield. You want him in the last third.
Hunting, yeah, hunting.
You want him away from anywhere where him giving the ball away can cost us, basically.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating. So Sancho on the left, Bruno on the right. Basically, you're playing kind of like Fred as the number 10, which is surreal, but high pressing number 10, not a passing creative.
No, not a passing. A guy to sit on their CDM, to sit on Busquets or Frenkie. That's the guy I want. Yeah,
that's crazy tactics. But no, 100%. I can see. I can definitely see the picture. But in terms of like even starting, should he start Varane? Should we risk Varane? Do you think we
Absolutely.
might Varane for the game against Newcastle? Do you think he should look at it? Because Varane, he definitely can't play three games in a week. So you're going to risk him playing 2 games in a week.
Yeah, I think you've got to in this case, haven't you? Really, you need your best team and your best players, and at the end of the day, you don't. Martinez obviously didn't play the first leg, so I think that's nailed on that he will play, and Shaw will shift back to left back.
It's really interesting. It's really interesting. How many of you had Fred in the team? So, Bumbaye, did you have Fred in your team in midfield?
Yes.
Malcolm did have Fred. Malcolm had Fred as well. Tom,
I didn't. No, I had him on the bench.
You know what? I'm sorry, but he's just been doing my head in lately. I know what Mundo was saying, 100%, but I just rather see Sabitzer, Casemiro, and I'd rather see them two than see Fred, because I know he set up the goal. I know that it's a European thing. I know that he's quick and stuff like that. But again, against Leicester, I counted 5 times when he gave the ball away in dangerous situations. Both the first time the Harvey Elliott chance, that was Fred. Nobody.
Where was he playing though? He was playing in the pivot, and we're saying playing further forward.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying to you, I don't trust him anywhere on the football pitch, Mundo. He's not that trust. I do not trust this guy, because when nobody's near, the funny thing, when he has to think about it, he loses the ball. When he doesn't have to think about it, he gives it straight away. And it's just so weird. It's very weird to me. It's like, I think in this game, you might have a bit more time because the game's slower. The game's not as quick as the Premier League. But I don't know. I think definitely the bench is going to work. But 100%, I do not want extra time. You might as well let them, like Mundo says, kick a goal in, score our own goal, mate. See you later. You're through to this horrendous Europa League that I hate anyway. But guys, pick up our Claire. 39 likes, and there's nearly 150 of you in here. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and hit the notification bell because it lets you know next time we're live, people. And we're going to be live a lot during the next season. But so, right, Mundo, I'll stay with you quickly. Pick your team. You already know what your midfield you pick, but just give me your defense and the 3 up front quickly.
So I kind of already give. So my defense would be Shaw left back, Varane, the Butcher, and then I'd go with Wan-Bissaka right back.
Okay.
Obviously, the keeper picks himself. Midfield, Sabitzer and Casemiro with Fred advanced. Sancho on the left. Bruno on the right, and Rashford up front.
Okay. Quickly, Tom, give me your team.
Same as Mundo, goalkeeper picks itself. I'd play the exact same back four. Rolls Royce, Varane, Butcher, Shaw, Spider, right back, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think he earned his place after the first game. Casemiro, Sabitzer, Bruno makes the midfield 3 for me. And you can obviously interchange Bruno right wing or whatever, and Sancho can drop deep to play 10. And I'd play the front 3 of Weghorst. Weghorst through the middle, Rashford left, Sancho right. I basically stick the same team, apart from he sticks Sabitzer and Martinez in the team.
Looks like we've got a Barcelona fan in the space. If you don't destroy us at Old Trafford, the Premier League is the Farmers League. Do you want to come on? I'll send the link here. Look, Football Oxyton, come on. Give us a Barcelona point of view quickly. You want to come on for 5 minutes, talk about Barcelona? More than happy to have you. No problem, man. everybody can come on here, especially if you're a Barcelona fan. I disagree with what's contributed attacking-wise this season. 5 of his 4 goals playing the box-to-box. He plays better further up the pitch. Now, 100%, I agree what he wants, but I'm telling you, when you're watching the game there and you see him give the ball away again and again and again in dangerous situations, I'm just done at the moment. Because all season when Eriksen was there, I was loving Fred coming on last 15, 20 minutes, last half an hour, coming on, giving me the energy, closing people down, knowing his job. Now he's back to the Fred that I'm got PTSD in my head between him and McTominay doing the madness on all the horrendous games we got battered. So it's hard for me to accept him when he's been so reckless. When 1 minute he's Fred from Stoke, next minute he's Fred from Brazil. I can't take that. It's too Jackal and Hyde. I can't take it. But I'll go to you quickly, Malcolm, and then to Bumbaye. Give me your team quickly.
Yes, I would start De Gea, of course, in goal. And then obviously the 2 center backs, Varane and Martinez, and then the 2 fullbacks. I'll start. I start Bissaka on the right and Shaw on the left, and then I have a midfield 3 of Casemiro, Fred. No, Casemiro, Sabitzer, Fred. Actually, I don't know. I could start a diamond, but I don't know if Ten Hag would want to have all his midfielders on the pitch. But I think I'll just stick with Casemiro, Sabitzer, and Fred, and then I'll have Weghorst as a inverted number 10, and then Rashford up top. And then you also have I thought Sancho on the Sancho on the left, Rashford on the right, and Weghorst up top. So
Okay.
that's my lineup. Yeah.
Right, Bumbaye, what's your team? Quickly, go ahead.
Maguire, Lindelof. What's my
I'm not
team,
even
man?
laughing. You know that I'm not even
McTominay, Fred.
I'm not even laughing.
Obviously, you see, Mundo knows me, man. Macca, McFred, I love that. The usual back 4. Do you know what? I think from the lineups that everybody's picked, I feel that we are giving this team the respect that they do deserve. It's Barcelona has a mystique about it, and our record against them is not the best. And you know what? The football they play, they could still cause us problems if we don't turn up. So I think people are putting Wan-Bissaka instead of Dalot. Fred is in there. Some people are putting 3 defensive-minded players as a midfield with Sabitzer, Fred, and Casemiro. So I think everybody has got confidence, but there is some fear factor there. Fair enough. But I would go with Fred, Casemiro, Bruno on the right, Sancho on the left, Marcus Rashford through the centre. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you got your back 4. Wait a minute. The gear in your back 4 with. I'd play the lot, to be honest. I'd play the low instead of Wan-Bissaka this one. You know what I mean? Let's go at them, man.
Okay.
And who? Yeah.
Okay, I'll stay with you quickly. Give me the result. Give me the score quickly.
I'll go with 2-0 United.
Malcolm?
2-1.
Tom?
3-0.
Mundo?
Like that, Tom.
2-1.
United. Wow, you guys are confident.
Nuruddin, go on.
For me, my team is simple. De Gea in there. Obviously, I play Wan-Bissaka. I don't think Diego Dalot. I'm not been liking what he has been. Of course, he's been out for a long time. So I'm putting Wan-Bissaka in because I know that they attack heavily on that side, and they don't really switch the ball in the air that much. They're more on the floor. So what's the name? The left back, their captain.
Jordi Alba.
Yeah, and then they got that young kid.
Balde.
Balde. Oh my God! Oh my Lord, this kid runs, mate. Runs. He's so direct. So Wan-Bissaka, we're gonna need somebody who can put a tackles in. So Wan-Bissaka plays obviously Varane, Martinez. Actually, I won't play Varane. Me, I will keep the same Lindelof, Martinez. Me, because I will. I would think maybe an option to come off the bench. No, well, I'll go with Varane. Varane Martinez. It's a big game because it's. But I just thinking about the Europa League because I don't care about the Europa League. So Varane Martinez, Luke Shaw, midfield Sabitzer Casemiro. I definitely want to see Sabitzer Casemiro play. Bruno, and then I would personally play Rashford on the right, Workhorse as a number 10, dropping in, doing the hard work again, and Sancho on the left. That's what I would do. And then obviously you can make changes. You can bring people on to affect the game.
Yeah, you can move people about as well, can't you?
Yeah. I've got a feeling.
Why would you not? But we're talking about their threats, right? Why would you not play Rashford on the left up against Jules Koundé?
Because
you'd have him on toast all day
but
long.
what I'm saying to you, Mundo, the thing about Ten Hag, they might set up like that, but it could be the other way around. It could be Sancho on the right and Rashford on the left. They're interchanging, and sometimes Rashford will be up front because he likes the fluidity of everybody. Like Bruno and Sancho dropping in like the inverting number 10s.
Number 10s, yes.
But don't think about it. It's fixed positions. Ten Hag doesn't do fixed positions.
Yeah. It's the same thing when we're attacking though, isn't it? Because Shaw joins the midfield in many cases, and he becomes like the defensive midfield, and then it frees up Casemiro to have that free role to go into the opposition half. Or, Wan-Bissaka does the same duties and jobs because he can tackle, and if you need to break up play, then you can disrupt the play. But we always have that extra man going forward. That's why, and then you just have your main three that'll sit back. One of either our fullback and the two centre halves will just sit at the halfway line, or we'll try and push them as deep in their own half and keep them compact and contained from there. But
100%. I think I've got a feeling because he always ends up in a draw. Because I remember being in the stadium. I remember sneaking in when it was 2-2 Barcelona versus Man United, and actually Pep Guardiola scored. I remember I got chucked out as soon as Lee Sharp scored and ran to the corner. That vivid in the well on the main stand, I got kicked out because somebody came in. Somebody, I don't know where they were sat, but they came in and I was sat on their seat.
What a goal by Lee Sharp, by the way. The little flick.
Yeah, basically a backward flick. So it is what it is. But big up. So I think if United win 2-1, maybe 2-1, or Barcelona win 2-1. It could be 2-1 either way, people. But your confidence in next levels, guys. Honestly, you guys are getting so giddy. I swear to God. Man United do not have the attack of Real Madrid, nowhere near Real Madrid. We don't have the midfielders of Real Madrid, so we need to behave, guys. Stop getting... Listen, when Man United win leagues, we can banter Liverpool. We can't banter them. We cannot. I'm sorry, anyway. I don't feel comfortable enough to banter them when we've got the Glazers, and that's our next topic. So I just want to give you guys all of the media, for me, when all of the media come out with this, and this guy, specifically this guy, has been one of the most informed guys on what's going on at Man United. All of summer, all of this season, in every aspect of this football club. Jay Tucker of the Telegraph has been one of the most informed guys. He's not been clickbaiting people. He's literally talking about things like UEFA, the financial fair play rules, and he's been doing long, lengthy articles. Unfortunately, I never subscribe to the fascist paper that he writes for. It's unfortunate that he writes for the fascist paper that I will never subscribe. I will never pay. But a couple of friends of mine do, and they always send me the link. They just basically copy and paste it and send it to me. You know what, the article, especially when they concerning Man United, because they know that I will never read that paper. I will never pay for it. But this is what he's had to say. There is still said to be some uncertainty whether Glazers will cash in on the club amid apparent splits and opinions in the six siblings. Telegraph Tucker. So we already know this. This is not news, but this is news in terms of what happened where their share price dropped because when the rumors came out of this Elliott people, I mean the Elliott lot. If you know anything about it, if you've done any of your research on the Elliott lot, what they've done to countries in the third world, like Argentina, Martinez, if Man United and if the Elliott lot and Glazers own, I can see Martinez putting in a transfer to get out of this football club. I'm telling you now. Because what they did to Argentina was incredible. Those of you who don't know, they basically bought when the economical crash happened in Argentina, they bought the bonds. They bought these bonds and then charged Argentinian people the most ludicrous. So even the super middle class people in Argentina, no money in their accounts. Can you imagine waking up one day, all your savings, your pensions, all that gone? This is the Elliott Group are one of the biggest vulture capitalists in the world, and the Glazers have got them in for a reason. And I've always told you from day dot, I don't believe in this full sale. And all of you can say, oh, it's a negotiating tactic. No, when the Glazers are coming out saying, first of all, putting out the statement saying, we don't need, they're actually quite pissed off with Qatar and Jim Radcliffe. And by the way, this is another update as well. Jim Radcliffe all of a sudden comes out today. Somebody briefing says, oh, yeah, I'm not taking Man United to make money out of Man United. Everything will be put back into the club. So what about the debt? What about the debt that Ineos are going to accrue? Who's going to pay that debt? And what are the Ineos shareholders going to say? But anyway, that's a separate issue because I see the sneakiness what's coming out today. Because he's saying everything that the Qataris are going to do, I'm going to do. And he's not giving any answers. There's representative PR machine are not giving any answers in terms of what is. But I just genuinely don't believe the Glazers are going for full sale. And I've said it from day dot. From day dot. And there is nothing that I have seen that convinces me otherwise. Their original statement is what their original statement. And they've come out and said the Glazers are butthurt because both Ineos and Qatar use taking Man United back to the glory days. Because the Glazers in their psychopathic heads, because we're not dealing with normal people. When people say, I'm going to do something, they give you the word, don't they? The Glazers said, we're going to improve the stadium the first time they walked in. Oh, yeah, every couple of years we're going to be stating, oh, yeah, we're going to, Carrington, of course there'll be money to regenerate. That's what they've said. They are on the record for saying these things. So when people tell me, no, but this is what is, no. And by the way, I went and done some research on my own. Just because some of you have got it in your heads that Rain Group is about selling. No, Rain Group is a group that you go to if you want investment in your businesses. They are reliable to a lot of these hedge funds and all of these vulture capitalists in New York and in America. If you need some investment, if you need your company to be backed, right? They go and find relevant investors for you to back your ownership of your company or whatever injection of money it needs. So this idea, just because the Rain Group were the ones to sell Chelsea, automatically, a lot of United fans are telling me, oh, it's because the Rain Group has basically, they won't be involved. They will never have got the Rain Group. No, the Rain Group are not about selling. They don't sell. Actually, the Rain Group, they don't sell many things, but what they do, they find investors that can help their clients. That's what their biggest thing that they do. Don't believe me, go and look it up yourself. So, for me, I've already seen FSG negating. I remember I did a video saying that Glazers after sell Liverpool are selling. So now FSG are not selling. Well, after tonight, Liverpool went down. They might have to sell now after the meltdown. But anyway, this is the point I'm making to you guys. And I've stayed put from day one. And all of a sudden, two bidders come out and the Glazers are talking about the Elliott Group. And don't tell me it's a fucking tactic because I told you from day dot. Go and watch the original video when the news broke. I didn't do a video straight away because I was waiting for the news to come out because I was like, everybody's like, oh, the Glazers. And I'm like, I'm not getting on the train hype because I don't believe these psychopaths. Some of you believe the psychopaths. I don't. Some of you believe the psychopaths on their word, where I believe the psychopaths also play games. Go and check out their business practices. Go and check out what they've done to people who, when they own the trailer parks, or what they've done to people in their own family, in their own relatives, how they took them to court and sued them for every penny. So these people, these are not normal. They're psychopathic business people. They'll do what's best. And now they're angling for a way to stay. We already know Avram and Joe want to stay. The rest of the people want to sell. So I'll go to you quickly, Mundo, and then we can go around. Give me what you think. And big up to Windy, because Windy says, let's be fair, the entire UX stock market had a bad day today. It's not just about the stock price. No, but the quote is directly from somebody of the, what was it? Washington, no, the New York, something, one of the journals, one of these new American business newspapers said, the share price specifically dropped because of what the Glazers, because the markets feared the Glazers are not selling and that's what they're telling people. The Glazers are negating on looking at investment options that they didn't have before. And some people who are close to the market are speculating all of this was done to build this thing so that investors can come out and say something. And there's also another thing, that American rich people do not want Qatari owning Manchester United. They do not. They do not. They want people from the West owning Manchester United because of his global reach and all of that business. There is that bit going on as well. Go ahead, Mundo, quickly, or we go around.
All right. So here's my view on it. I'm not a financial person, so I don't understand all the facts and figures behind this. But what doesn't make sense to me, because we're hearing this 5 billion figure, 6 billion figure. What we need to understand is that is not a valuation of the club. That is a figure that the Glazers are saying they're willing to sell for. The valuation is determined by the stock market. So Manchester United's true value, the last time it was reported, was 3.5 billion. So if the Rain Group come in to invest, they're not investing in an asset that's worth 6 billion. They're investing in an asset that's worth 3.5 billion. So this is where I'm struggling to understand how investment's going to save the Glazers, right? Because if you take into account the level of debt, if you take into account the cost that we would to either refurbish or replace the stadium, which they're going to have to do on the training facilities, the outstanding transfer debt, and if there is that split in the boardroom between the siblings, they're going to have to buy out 4 of the siblings as well. That's a shitload of money, right? And that amount of money, I can't. And maybe we need someone financial to come on the show and explain it. But if somebody's investing that amount of money, for me, that's a controlling stake in the club. So the Glazers would, and the one thing that they don't want to relinquish is the power, right? So if they get investment, I don't think that's going to save them. All that's going to do is delay the inevitable. That's all it's going to do, because they might hold on for another year or two, but it's not. Their ownership is coming to an end because the level of investment required is no one's putting that money in without taking the controlling stake of the club. And as soon as that happens,
But Mundo, this is what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is that because the Elliott Group, look up the Elliott Group. Just look at what they've done to countries in the so-called third world. What they've done, they are an opportunist. So people are saying they're willing to put up 2 billion, right, for the infrastructure and stuff like that, and then them and the Glazers. Then the Man United forget 6 billion. Man United then becomes a 10 billion club. The Glazers always would said they're gonna sell for some, because Man United can be the most profitable.
Well, if they give Man United if they give the Glazers 2 billion,
right? So what they basically, my biggest worry when if you go and read the original article on the Sky that broke the news, they said an American consortium is favorite. They always said that, and I've been tweeting relentlessly every day talking about who these American bidders, why they're not coming out, why they're hiding. The Elliott Group, they're the glue on their own. But if you go and look it up, you see why Man United linked to the Elliott Group. And the Elliott Group, guess what they've told insiders? They're willing to invest in anything because they've realized that Manchester United market value is exactly what you said, right? The share price is going slightly. So if you now look at it, it may be close to 4 billion or 3.7 or whatever it is, right? But they've realized that, and then how much the Glazers want. So they want a piece of the pie. So what is supposed to be happening now is that they're going to come up with the money for infrastructure for the next 3-4 years. And then when them and the Glazers will sell, and Elliott Group, they've not said they want to take over. They don't. They said they're willing to invest. So when you're saying who are these, and then go and look up who the Elliott Group are. This is not the first time they've done this. They will invest in anything because they'll know what they'll sell that thing for. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? They always get their money back and they make money, and that's how they do. They're literally like vultures. They see an opportunity because of the hype that is gone. Listen, you've got Man United fans, nearly 1 billion people, go into the fucking Bloomberg website, like every day, clicking on it. Like New York, something journal. I forgot what the name of it is.
Wall Street Journal.
Wall
Is that what
Street
you're on
Journal.
about?
That Man United fans are on it. Like every place where the Glazer news can be coming out, Man United fans are there. And the buzz that's been created, they've seen the share price rise to a record in a time that where the financial world is a bit sketchy. So I don't think people are understanding this. And today I was on the phone for 3 hours to somebody, my brethren, who's been on a channel before, but and who works in London, in the finances, and he basically explained to me about the Elliott Group, and he sent me a couple of articles, and then I was like, what the hell? This is what they do. When things are created, a buzzes around, where that's what they do. And they're saying, we don't want any stake, we don't want full stake in Man United, because they're known, Mundo, not to be stake anywhere. Look, they bought AC Milan, right? What did they do? They sold it. When they won the Scudetto, the club became, again, global, the fan base, whatever AC Milan, sleeping giant. They've sold it to the Bird Eye, whatever they're called, the Bird Group, whatever they sold it to. So this is who they are. So,
but the point I'm making is, that's the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that this is a short-term fix for the Glazers.
Yeah,
it's
of
not
course.
a long-term fix.
Of course, it's the next 5 years. But they'll plan the next 5 years something. We want 10 billion for this football club. Because originally...
They will never get 10 billion, Rudy.
Yeah.
I don't care if the valuation drops, goes up or anything.
No.
The time to sell this football club for the maximum price that they can get now is now. If somebody gives them £5 billion, they will never see any more than 5 billion. They will not get £6-7 billion, whether it be now or in 10 years' time. It's if you take the highest offer that you get now, or you prolong the inevitable, like Mundo has said, and that valuation, it will never increase and it will never go up. You can modernise a stadium, you can stay on for another 18 months, 2 years. The evaluation will never get to £10 billion. Like Mundo already said, in terms of the share prices, it's valued the football club. Let's round it up to the round figure of £4 billion. Let's just round it up just for sake of it. If you value the football club at £4 billion, and that's the share price, the Glazer family already have their price if they want £6 billion. They're going to look at it and think, if we can get the maximum price and somebody's prepared to give us £5 to £6 billion, that's the best offer we will ever get to get out. 100%. Hang on, Rujin, let me finish. Tax-free cash. Tax-free cash, because the club is registered through the books of the Cayman Islands. Tax-free cash, £5 billion to £6 billion. They will take that and they will run to the hills, regardless if the Elliott Group say we'll invest 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion. If they get a way out with a full £5 to £6 billion, all 6 of the siblings, it doesn't matter if it's Sheikh Jadmin, if it's Sir Jim, if it's an American investment company, it doesn't matter who it is, they will take it, because they will never get that offer on the table, whether it be now or in 10 years' time. They won't. It's now or never if they want to maximise their profits. And if they don't want to maximise their profits now and they want to prolong and stay on, then that's fine. They will never see £5 to £6 billion from any company, because they will know that the club is not worth that. Even if you modernise the stadium, even if you do all these other factors, you get the revenues back on side and things like that. Because they know ultimately no sponsor wants to touch this football club with a barge pole at the moment in time with how the Glazer family have run this club. And when you're an investment company or a hedge fund, and you look at all these different sponsors who are looking to either renegotiate deals with the Glazers or are pulling out, like such as TeamViewer, where you're going to have a new front sponsor on your football shirt, and the Glazer family, cannot seem to get a sponsor at this moment in time, and it's Man United, the big global franchise that it is, when they cannot get an advertisement to go on the front of their shirt, and it's the biggest football club in the world, and it could be sold for the biggest price in sporting history, when they can't get a sponsor for this so-called big super giant, no investment company is going to look at that and think, well, if we invest 2 billion, we're going to make money out of it in the end. They ain't. You ain't going to make any money out of this. All you're going to do is just prolong the Glazers to stay on. And if this so-called Elliott Group or hedge fund want to get involved and invest, they ain't going to invest and let the Glazers go back to what they've been doing in taking dividends, because they ain't going to penny pinch off the Elliott Group. The Elliott Group are going to look at this and think, we'll invest and we'll look at getting a profit. And they will know they are the best, probably some of the biggest and best investors, financial experts in the world that work for that group. They will know that this football club will never, ever be evaluated, whether it be now, 10 years, or 50 years' time. This football club will never be any more than £6 billion if they get a price tag for that now. This football club would never be sold to a new owner in 10 years' time, and the club would be worth £7 or £8 billion if they wanted to sell it on. It won't. This is the figure and this is the price now. And if the Glazer family don't take it, they therefore forfeit their right to ever get this offer ever again. And that is why now, if they're going to sell the football club, because there is such a demand to own any Premier League club, forget Man United, any Premier League club at this moment in time, there is such a demand, whether it be in the US, Middle East, Europe, wherever.
No,
To own
that's
a
not
Premier
right.
League club,
It's
it is
not
the
the Middle
biggest
East.
asset. Hang on, let me just finish this last
Listen,
point, and then we'll
let me
go.
just come in.
Let me
Let me
finish
just
this
come in.
last
No,
point,
no,
though.
let me
Let me
just come
finish
in.
this last point,
No,
Nudin.
no, no, let me just come in,
Let me
Tom.
finish this last point.
10 of the Premier League teams, 11 of the Premier are owned by Americans or have American shares.
No,
But
no,
the
I'm not
problem,
about
what
that.
you're forgetting, Tom, what you're forgetting is simple. Man United are not what they were, dead team like last season. Ten Hag has already got the club in Man United, the only club in the Premier League, is still in 4 trophies, even though 3 months to go. Man United is totally different landscape. People are not going to be running away now to sponsor. People will be coming to now to be sponsored by Manchester, to be in conversation with Manchester United. They look at Ten Hag and think, wow, this guy has got the fans back. The fans are there. The team is connected. And yeah, maybe some of the fans are happy because we think we're selling. They're playing games, Tom. And I'm sorry to say, but these guys are psychopaths. And like people said, like Windy just said, why are Man United hiring people if somebody's on the sale? Like, this doesn't make sense. It does not make sense to me. And when you know what the Elliott Group are, and there are people who are saying also it's got to do with the Super League, and with or without UEFA, the Super League's happening. So this can all be. There are too many fishy things. For me, the Elliott Group, if you not know about the Elliott Group, go and read up about the Elliott Group. I beg you, all of you, to go and read about the Elliott Group. These are vultures. They look at certain things and they think, look what's going on. Look why Man United are projected. Because the biggest thing, you know why? They can never buy Bayern Munich. They can never buy Barcelona. They can never buy Real Madrid. But Man United are come for sale. Man United, one of the biggest brands in world football, has come for sale. Glazers, always, when I spoke to people throughout the years, people have said to me, the Glazers would sell, like most businessmen, if you give them an impossible price. And the people...
And 6 billion is that impossible price. It is. No, it is, Nudin. It is.
People are quoting 8 to 10 billion.
No, never in a million years.
That was being quoted. And that's what the Glazers, that's how they think they're going to get from Man United. That's how they think. But quickly, I want to go around and get Bumbaye's phone, and then we'll come back to you, Tom. Bumbaye and then Malcolm. What do you guys think is going on? What do you think is going on, guys?
I think this will just play out when it plays out. First, you need to ask a few questions to be able to assess the situation. I'm not a financial guy. I'm just using my.
No, you don't have to be a financial guy, but you know about the Glazers. You know
you know what I'm saying. Forget, bro. Look, the Glazers' motives and intentions are susceptible depending on what's on the table. So there's no point. But the situation at hand there is this club still generating a tidy amount of money as dividend for the Glazers to take out on an annual basis?
If Ten Hag is successful in the next 2 years, all of that will be back, yeah.
Okay. It seems to me, and my argument when we touch on this, I always say, look, the fans are the fans. I get it. But ultimately, this is a business that belongs to a private family. And whether it's in the red and functioning in operating debt, it's difficult for me to see how somebody would give away, just millions of pounds from just chilling every year. It's just throw here's 50 million a year. It's a lot of money. It's not like you're having to do anything. Even with the current state of the club, you're still taking money out. You're still making money. So why would you sell it? I think the Glazer family, and I said this last time, again, we spoke about this. The Glazer family, it's not what the club is worth as a business. It's what we think it's worth. If you're prepared to pay somewhere around that price, then we will talk. That's what this is. Sheikh Jassim of Qatar has alluded to this. He said, "No, I'm doing 4.7 billion. I'm not paying what you think it's worth or what you want. If you really want to sell, this is what I can offer you. This is the valuation of the club."
Mm.
If the Glazers decide to stay, it's like you think you've got a house that's a really good house. It needs some work. If you decide to take the mantle and get somebody in, get one of your friends in to invest in it and say, let's do it up, and then it'll be worth loads, and then we can sell. That's an option. That's where the Elliott Group might come in. They see the potential. They're willing to invest to make. That's a very viable option. Why not? You invest in the stadium, the infrastructure. Man United win a few trophies with this guy. Great, we're back. Get sponsors back. You could sell maybe for a bit more money, ask for a bit more money because you've done the job of what the potential is there. Because the Glazers are also selling on the basis of the potential. But are you going to do the work, or are you just saying there's potential and somebody like Sheikh Jassim is going to come in? He's saying, I'm going to clear the debt. We're going to start the balance sheet clean, and then we're going to start investing. So there are numerous options in this game. But it does feel to me like the Glazers do, want to sell. End of the day, it's just dependent on if they can come to an agreement with somebody that is one willing to pay somewhere near what they would like for it. Um, and I guess that's it really. And the person is willing to pay for it. It has to be somewhere in the middle. I don't think the person's gonna get away with the Glazers just what it's worth. He's gonna have to give a bit of a sweetener because there's no shortage of takers. There's 3 people here bidding, maybe more. That's a lot of people bidding for a club that's won fuck all, man. We haven't done anything in a decade. So you've got Sheikh Jassim, you've got the Elliott Group, you've got Jim Ratcliffe, and who knows who else. But obviously, if there are other bidders as well, I don't think this is like an auction. Sometimes, if you're dealing with a Sheikh Jassim straight away, third richest man in the world, even if you are really interested, you're thinking, can we even compete? Is it even worth bothering putting a bid in? So I don't think there's any shortage of takers, but sometimes, depending on who's involved, um, the amount of people that would be interested won't come to the fore because they know they're up against something they can't compete with. So there's various options. I can't tell you how it's going to go, but I do believe the Glazers want to sell. If it will happen a sale, we have to wait and see.
Right. Listen, I'll quickly go back to Tom. Tom, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Say what you were saying. By the way, somebody said that I'm waffling. They wanted 8 to 10 billion. Yes, they did. Because the whole reason when people wanted to buy the United from the Glazers, they always made it impossible so that nobody's going to pay that money and everybody's going to tell them to fuck off. And that's you set the price so high so that nobody can never afford it, and that's why you're not selling. But go ahead, Tom. Hello, Tom, are you there? Okay, we'll go to Malcolm. I'll come back to Tom. Go ahead, Malcolm.
Yeah, just based on what everyone was saying, um, I think pretty much on when we've talked about the financial issues and the Glazers trying to sell the club. I've said that if there's anyone that if there's any investor that the Glazers are gonna most likely try and get, it's probably gonna be an American investment because that's how they make money. That's how they make revenue. Um, and so to me, it's more like if the Qataris are if the Qataris are willing to do what they're saying, what they're actually saying, then I guess it's more of um, if the Glazers are actually willing to actually sell to an actual club. No, I mean to an actual we have to like if the Qataris are willing to see if the Qataris are willing to if the Qataris are gonna do what they're actually saying, then it's up to us to see whether the Glazers are willing to sell to an actual new owner rather than just selling to another American investment. And so, it could go either way. It could go, you know, like the first way it could go is the Glazers could do like a full sale and just give it to the Qataris and say, yeah, like, yeah, here you go, like, pay off all the debts. This is basically like yours to run right now, or they could just say like we'll sell the club, but not to a full ownership. We're just gonna we'll we'll sell the club, but we still own majority of the shares. So we'll just have to wait and see. Like it could go both ways really. So I can't entirely. Sorry.
Let me just get the super chat. Not nice one. Qataris have followed me on Twitter, and Twitter, send your summer transfer list. It's gonna DM him soon. I believe.
I have a question for the panel actually about the Qatar bid.
1 second, Babaye. 1 second, Babaye. 1 second. HK Music says the Qatari has followed me on Twitter. Send me your summer transfer list.
It's taking a piss,
DM
man.
him soon. I believe they will bid £6 billion pounds to get the club. Tom, I just want to go back to Tom. So, Tom, this is another thing about Team Viewer. You were talking about Team Viewer. I don't know if it's been updated, but check what Team Viewer are doing now, right? Because this is what I'm saying to you. Too many strange things are going. Last year, towards the end of the summer, the beginning of the season, when we're getting horrendous results, Team Viewer were coming out saying, you know what, we might not want to be here, we've overpaid, we did this, whatever. Now, here, like Wendy's telling you, let's be fair, the entire US stock market, no, that's not it. Not that one. Where's the other one? Here we go. Team Viewer is starting to do promotional content with United players and backroom staff, which they have not been doing before. I know that for 100%. They've not been doing that, but they're doing it now. United hire a director of operations, guy from Everton who's been there for 27 years. John Murch's boy. They hire him. It don't seem like a club that's selling. I'm sorry to say, but
have you thought about the alternative? Have you thought about the alternative that it might be that there's been a deal on the table and it's been accepted, and that this is just because that's what does happen as well. That there's a deal on the table, it's been accepted, and all of this is just you have to go through a certain rigmarole, right, to satisfy certain financial rules or whatever. But that could be that could be it as well, because the Rain Group, the Elliott Group, right? What they've actually said is we're prepared to invest and finance anyone's bid, not just the Glazers.
Yeah.
Someone wants to buy the club, we're happy to give you money, right?
Yeah, it's like what Goldman Sachs have done with
somebody else to get rid of the Glazers. I mean, I'm not saying that's a better option,
but then Mundo, it's like it's swapping the Elliott Group with the Glazers, and they're the worst as they're vultures. Please read about the Elliott Group. That's why they're jumping on a bandwagon, because they've seen this global football club with almost so many hundreds and hundreds of thousands of fans globally, and the buzz that's going around in all of these American business-based things. And they're like, wow.
But the Glazers are going to take the highest offer. They're not going to. So if they're coming in, right? Let's say the Elliott Group say, right, we're not going to finance you Glazers. We're going to finance somebody else's bid, right? Then the Glazers are out of the picture. So then it's all about who's paying the most money. And then we know the Qataris are putting the most money on the table.
Mundo, the Elliott Group. Listen to me. The Elliott Group. Listen to me. The Elliott Group have apparently advised the Glazers before, so they're quite tight-knit. And I refer back to the original, when the breaking news happened, the Manchester United club statement on Sky News, it said American consortiums, American hedge funds are the favorites. No Qatar, Jim Radcliffe or whatever. It said US-based.
But why haven't the Elliott Group given them the money before then? Why have they waited until now? What's the power? What's the play? I don't understand that.
Well, somebody else is telling me what you do with the Rain Group. You create a buzz, like you're gonna sell. Like that happens apparently loads of times. That happens, and apparently Elon Musk was stupid enough because he created a buzz saying I want to buy Twitter, but then as soon as he said it, he got taken to court officially that he wants to buy Twitter. And then by court, he had to pay for it. He thought that people just, you know what he's like? He's a dickhead, isn't he? He messes around tweeting.
Well, he just didn't have the financials in place.
I'm a bit confused, right?
He overpaid.
I'm a little bit confused there, because if you create a buzz, then that means the share price goes up, which means it costs
right.
more for Elliott to invest. And if it's the opposite, that means the Glazers lose money. So it doesn't work for either party.
No, but
that doesn't make much sense.
At this moment in time, because of the level of interest now with the 2 bidding wars, and apparently altogether it's 20 different people that are bidding for Man United. Apparently 20 different people. And I just want to come to quickly before we go, right, what the next stage is, what I believe the next stage to be, because you don't know what journalists to fucking trust, but I trust Docker because Docker's been right about loads of things the whole season and about European football, not just about Man United. But I'll go back to you, Tom. This idea for me, like, I always go back to the original idea that they were looking investment. They tried to do it privately. They've done it through Saudi Arabia. We saw that. I remember.
Yeah. They wanted the full takeover, and
on the other Glazer being in Saudi Arabia. We know that story. But now that is actually created a. Guys, I'm not lying to you. Bloomberg, other business, the journal. Whatever.
Wall Street Journal, yeah.
Bloomberg,
Journal,
yeah.
all the Manchester. I'm clicking. So many people sending me links. Man United, Manchester United, Manchester. That's never happened before, Mundo. Never happened.
Yeah, but they're
before.
tring to drive the price up so they can sell it high.
Yeah, well,
it makes no sense for an investor to come in now when the stock's high.
Mundo, we've already known. No, we've already known, and I'll come back to some. Let Tom finish his part of it. We've already known Avram and Joe don't want to sell. But the rest of the Glazers want to sell because their children is getting on Instagram and everywhere else.
No, they do want to sell, but they'll only sell for the price that suits them. That's the case. They will. It's not a case of they don't want to sell. But let Bumbaye say the question that he wanted to say anyway, because I know you wanted to ask a question, Bumbaye. So go on.
Thank you. Isn't the share price going to go up in any eventuality when considering a new ownership? Because how this ownership
if it's listed, if it's a listed company on an exchange company, then of course it will go up whenever anything sells. You look at, say, Twitter, for example. When Elon Musk made all those comments and everything, Twitter went to a record figure on the New York Stock Exchange, and as soon as it was bought out, it went back down to a regulated figure. But whoever comes in, it depends which way they want to take the club, Bumbaye, because if the Qatar come in and they say that they want 100% like they put in their statement, they are going to buy every single one of them shareholders who own a stake on the New York Stock Exchange, and they're going to take the club private. And then Manchester United will never be a listed company. It will be a private entity and a private organisation.
The initial furore that is going to be created, whether it's Sheikh Jassim, he's going to have to, any person that comes to buy this club, it cannot be an individual. It has to be a company. It can't be a state, as an example. So what I'm saying is,
of course, that's why he set up that 992 Foundation. That's why, because he needs something that's going to stick with him. Just like he's linked the bank QIB, which he's the chairman of. He's also brought that into the equation, which is completely set. Yeah, it's a company, it's a bank, it's a firm within Qatar. It's not a government, entity like QIA or QSI. Yeah, that's what I mean. Same with Sajim. Ineos is a different entity and it's a different company, and it's not registered on British shores or American shores. His company and offices are registered in Monaco. Like that. What I'm saying, that's how it works.
Boys, in any eventuality, any sort of sale that is on the table is going to make some waves, and stock prices will increase. So this doesn't really bear thinking about. It's just a natural order of the stock market. The question here is the scrutiny that is coming towards the Qatari bid from a human rights perspective, and the reservations about we don't want a state owning a club. Is there, by the powers that be, a preference to who takes over this iconic club? Is there some sort of prejudice or discrimination in that preference? Or is that a load of bullshit, what I'm saying?
No,
because it seems now, at this moment, most United fans want the Qatari bid. Because
you do polls. You do polls, yeah.
What that bid is it's not a ragtag group of men that are going to further need funding for this acquisition, as opposed to a person who is worth God knows how many billions, who simply is going to pay this, buy the club. It's not a third of his wealth like Jim Ratcliffe. He's not even going to break sweat. But obviously, he's not throwing his money away either. He will buy the club, and it will be a Man City job, basically.
Yeah.
Let's be honest there. So that's the preference because of the financial situation with the operating debt that everybody is not happy about. That would be alleviated quite simply. So from that perspective, it seems that this is the preferential bid. However, the scrutiny and the reservations on Sky News, on the outlets, is against that bid because of human rights.
No, Mumbai, listen, Mumbai, we've done shows about that. Forget about that.
No, I'm asking, does that exist? Is that there?
No, we do. Of course, it's
out
there in the media. Yeah.
So what exists is that people in America saying we need to keep Manchester United in American hands. Hence why the original news broke. American consortiums were favorites. Americans were favorite. I want to drop you back there. Go and look at that article. When the news broke that the Glazers were looking for, they didn't say full sale, by the way. They said exploring all options, and they said exploring for
strategic alternatives.
Yeah, it's a strategic.
That's the question to the panelists. Do you believe there is a preferential ownership over another?
Of course there is. The fan base has made it.
No, of course it is. But the point I'm going to try to make to you, the reasons why the Elliott Group and these other guys are getting involved now, apparently, is because, and like I said, like the original article, like I sound like a fucking broken record. The original article, it was the US president. And now what they're saying is that what he was telling me, the brother was telling me today, 2 hours on him on the phone, he was telling me that because 11 football clubs in the Premier League are either fully owned or I have more American as the main owner. Do you understand what I'm saying?
They have minority stakes, don't they?
Yeah, minority stakes. So that's what's happening. What he's saying that is that they can't lose the flagship club. They can't lose it to the Middle East. They cannot lose that club to the Middle East. So
okay, there you go. So already, Sheikh Jassim, bro, all that'll happen is what happened with Liverpool, guys. There was a sheikh that came in before Hicks and Gila and said, man, let me make this club the Don again. Instead, they went with Hicks and Gila, who strained themselves to get over the line, and Liverpool died a death until the FSG group came. This is what could happen with us again. Because listen, Sheikh Jassim is just going to think, all right, forget it. I'll just crack on.
And that's why somebody's saying, and here Windy comes with something because Windy lives in the US, so obviously Windy is getting the news in normal time. Windy says Elliott Group is signaling to Radcliffe that they're an option to JB Morgan and Goldman Sachs, and you can't fucking even trigger me. But go ahead, Tom. You can't trigger me with JB fucking Morgan. Get over
These are the exact names you do not want to hear associated with the acquisition of this club. But this is dreadful. Let's stay with the Glazers.
Yeah, of course you don't.
Go ahead, Tom.
Like you said, just to explain with Mumbai's point, where at the end of the day, I think the fans have spoken. You can put a poll on social media, you will get a reaction. Like the Independent, for example, as a newspaper, they put a poll in for Scandinavia. And they had Scandinavian fans. Listen, you can have Arsenal, Liverpool fans on NordVPN or any VPN company. They can just vote against for Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So in terms of pollings, if you want to get the genuine sort of demographic of what fans' preference of ownership is, you go outside Old Trafford and you do your market research that way. Because the match-going fans are the people who you can then say, right, we have a realistic demographic of what the people want. And when you've had all these different broadcasting companies, you even had Sky who did it at the weekend. I did not hear Sir Jim Ratcliffe's name mentioned once. All I heard was Qatar, and they interviewed 4 or 5 different people before the game against Leicester. And all it was Qatar. Sir Jim Ratcliffe wasn't even mentioned. But he is an option there. And at the end of the day, when it was all about the ownership and everything, and it could potentially have changed hands at the time, Sir Jim Ratcliffe was the only option. It was Sir Jim or it was nothing. And at that point in time, everybody was on board with Sir Jim because they thought he is the only option. Now, in this case, he isn't. There is other options. The Glazer family have they have the option with Qatar. And like you just said, Bombay, about Sheikh Jassim, he's looking at this, and I look at all of these different parties. Whether the Elliott Group wanted to buy the football club fully or not, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Any of these organisations or groups or individuals are going to look at this and think, by the time in maybe the next time this football club could ever become available on the market or be for sale, I might be dead. So Jim Ratcliffe, he's not a young boy. He's in his he's in his late 60s, early 70s. At the end of the day,
70s, yeah, early 70s.
the next time this football club comes available, he could be 6 feet under. So it is now or never in terms of if he wants to buy this football club. Sheikh Zassim, for example, they've got all this money with Qatar and everything, yes, but you can't take that money with you to the grave at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, they want to maximise what they're actually going to do within life. And with Qatar, in the way that they're going to rule it around UEFA, and like we've already understood with Nurid and everything, with the UEFA laws and how you can get round it, and it's not tight-knit or anything, it's very easy, and there's a loophole to get round all of those regulations. And the way that you do that is, you don't state an organisation that's bidding, you state a person. In the same way Abu Dhabi did with Sheikh Mansour. They didn't state the fund or the Sovereign Wealth Fund through Abu Dhabi, they stated Sheikh Mansour. In the same way that Qatar are going to do now with Sheikh Zassim, which will be funded by QIB or, the 1992 foundation that he wants to set up and everything. But ultimately, the whole sort of connection with Qatar is not him. He's just basically the spokesperson that's been sent by his father, who was the ex-prime minister, a former, chief executive of QIA, which is the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Qatar. He used to be basically the chief in command of all of that sort of the political side of the country. If he got involved and he wanted to bid, he couldn't do it because they would hold that against him. You've got connections with PSG, you've got connections with QIA. Whereas if you do it with your son, who's never had a political role, he's just honestly, his son is basically just a banker. He is literally basically a Qatari version of what Edward Wood is in many respects. He's a banker. He's a financial expert. He did his education at Sandhurst in the United Kingdom. That's all that context is. But at the end of the day, the scrutiny that has come under from Qatar about human rights and everything, we have to accept that, and we have to look at that and think, yes, that has its impacts and its effects. But Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I will claim it on here and I will state it now because it's out there in the media for everybody to know. He is a criminal. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is a criminal. He is a tax dodger. He's dodged tax in this country for years. Qatar invests in our economy. He steals from our economy. That's the difference at the end of the day. Because if Sir Jim doesn't want to pay tax in our country, why is all of his companies, INEOS and all of his different business ventures, registered where? Monaco. Tax-free. You don't have to pay tax in Monaco. Same thing with the Glazer family. Manchester United's offices are registered in the Cayman Islands. They don't have to pay tax on this football club. And that is the difference. And that is why the government, the British government, the Premier League will look at the Qatari bid and think, well, we'd rather the money come to our league than go somewhere else. Because if it goes somewhere else, it boosts a different league. And that's why the Premier League, they didn't have any case to answer. And they didn't have any problem rolling in Saudi Arabia. And this whole myth that Saudi Arabia doesn't own Newcastle is BS. They signed a bit of paperwork to say that it's not connected and stuff. PAF is a sovereign wealth fund of Saudi Arabia, and that's what owned Newcastle. So you're telling me there's not a connection there?
And Tom, who's the German of that estate fund?
Yeah, it's Mohammed bin Salman at the end of the day. And in the same case with this, if it's QIA that are providing the funding in the background for this bid or whatever, but they're just not attaching their name to it, who does that lead back to? The Emir of Qatar, who also owns PSG. But if his name and his companies and organisations are not on the paperwork, who can say otherwise? And the Premier League will look at that. If they don't buy Manchester United, they might buy a club in Serie A, and they might turn that into a brilliant success. They might buy a club in Spain or wherever.
Tom,
and they might try and turn it into a success.
Tom, I just want to come in, and Mundo can answer this. Arnold is trolling us. Mate, after every goal was scored the other day, you can ask Mundo. And every time, every 20 minutes or so, is stand up if you hate Glazers ringing around the whole stadium and everybody's standing up. Mundo, am I right or wrong when you were at the game? How many times did you hear the Glazers song?
They were singing even when we were winning.
Exactly.
And even in the second half, when United were completely on top, the whole second half, they were singing Glazers out.
So I don't know what you're talking about. You're just trolling there, fan. But good luck with that one. Listen, we've been live, and I'm going to give the last word. Mundo, quickly. Can you see, man? This
1.5 hours.
Come the summer, in your heart of heart, regardless whatever confusing reports there are, and whatever dodginess is going on. Because I know that 100% the Glazers are psychopaths. They're not normal people. They're not, because I think Man United's worth 8 to 10 billion. That's what they believe in their heads, right? And they want 6 billion now for a club that failed for 10 years on the football pitch. When people told you that Man United don't need to be successful on a football pitch to make money. Well, that came to an end quickly, didn't it? But in your head and heart, what does your head tell you? What does your heart tell you quickly?
Both my head and my heart are telling me that the club will be sold. But just like everybody else, I've no idea. Who's going to purchase the club. No idea.
Who would you like to take over?
You can't trust the Glazers to do the right thing and pick. They're just going to go for whatever suits them best. But if it's down to pure finance, then I can't see anybody outbidding the Qataris. I think the Qataris.
Well, let's go round then. Let's say if we think it's going to be sold, or let's make our own prediction personally, and then who we think will buy it. Then, so Mundo, go ahead.
Should we also add to that who you would like to buy it?
Yeah, that's what I mean, and who you would like at this stage from who we know.
So I believe that if the club is sold, that it will be sold to the Qataris, because I don't think investment funds and other kind of private investors are unlikely to pay more than what the true valuation of the club is.
Yeah, private equity funds. Yeah,
private equity and whatnot. They're not going to give you an extra 2 billion on top, which I think the Qataris would do, and they've already allegedly bid 5 billion. So that's already 1.2, 1.3 million above the true valuation of the club anyway. And more than what Jim Ratcliffe has bid as well by about $1 billion. So I think if it's purely financial, it'd be the Qataris. Who do I want to own the club? Well, ideally, don't want any of these people owning it. But if I had to choose, I would go for the Qataris, only because I think that the competitive nature of the Middle East, the fact that there's Saudis and Emiratis in the Premier League, they will want the best of the best. Yes. And we know we need a new stadium, we need new facilities, so on and so forth. And I don't think, because they're having a new stadium and having new facilities don't necessarily add that much value to the club in terms of the valuation.
True.
And it's not as though if you add an extra 30,000 seats at Old Trafford, that's going to bring in huge revenue over and above what we're already generating anyway. So I'm not convinced that somebody else, like an American private equity firm or whatever, or even Jim Ratcliffe, would invest in those areas where we need investment. And I think the Qataris would, and they would want the best of the best based on the World Cup. They had the best stadia. They spent 200 billion on the World Cup, made no money. You only look and see what City's owners have done for the City of Manchester, the infrastructure around the ground and everything else, and how they developed that area and have invested. And Old Trafford is a dump. Having been at the weekend, the stadium is a disgrace. The surrounding area is a disgrace. We know that Trafford Park, the largest industrial estate park in Europe, so there's all that land that's ripe for redevelopment. And the Qataris are the only ones with the money and with the desire to do that. So that's why I would.
Okay, Mundo. So you said the Qataris. Quickly, Malcolm.
Yeah. So
do you think the club is going to be sold? Do you think that the Glazers are going to sell? And then who do you want quickly?
I mean, I do think they will be sold eventually. I think during this summer, I think we'll get to know more on the Glazers decision and on who they choose. Personally, for me, I'll choose the Qataris to take over the club, just because I think with their financial leverage, I don't think anyone can really outbid them right now. And apparently I think what's his name again? The no, the Qatari owner. What's his name?
Oh, Sheikh Jassim.
Yeah, Sheikh. Yeah. Apparently, he came out and said that they're able they're apparently he came out and said that they're able to like they're willing to increase their bid if needed to. So I guess that kind of just tells
No,
you.
you know what? There's conflicting reports. I tell you
Yeah,
what,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
saying that they're not paying what the Glazers want. They're paying the market price, maybe
yeah,
just over, but they're not
yeah,
paying some ridiculous amount of money. They've said that, and
yeah.
some of the people have said maybe this is the part of the negotiation, whatever. So yeah, we got it. Mbaye, do you think the Glazers are gonna sell? And who do you want?
Yeah, I think a sale seems like it's on the cards. I want. I think the moral arguments and reservations, put them in the bin now. You took you took the Saudis. You've had all sorts. Say Abu Dhabi's no better. And end of the day, football is all about money, guys. And you know what? The guy that has the money to do the kind of things that we want, not just in terms of football and backing the guy, the development, the stadium, and all that. Somebody that can do all that and do the type of buy that is no longer associated as much with leverage and banking is the Qataris. So get them in and let's get the show on the road.
Quickly, Tom.
Yeah, I already said from get go, I thought the club was going to be sold from the first statement. The investment groups, they've tried to do deals with Saudi Arabia and things, and it's never worked in the past. So I don't see any investment group or any equity fund is going to look at chucking 2 billion at them when they can go and fund somebody's bid to take over, and they can fund a new model, a new ownership, where it's going to be fresh, new, and complete. If that was from a US investor's point of view, myself personally, my prediction would be I think Qatar will blow any of these bidders out of the water. I wouldn't be ashamed if it would be 4 billion, 5 billion, 6 billion. They will pay what it needs to be to get this football club, because at the end of the day, owning Manchester United as a brand for that country is massive. Hosting the World Cup was massive. They have a permanent residence now. They own the crown jewels of English football in Manchester United Football Club. And at the end of the day, like everybody said, my personal preference is Qatar. I'll be real and honest. Ethics and morals in football doesn't exist nowadays, and it doesn't exist in the Premier League. Abu Dhabi's here, so you've already got Emiratis in the league. You've got Saudi money here, and if Qatar doesn't buy Manchester United, they'll just invest in a minority stake somewhere else. Spurs, Arsenal, wherever, they'll invest money somewhere. So at the end of the day, the Premier League will want the money to come to their league, and effectively, it just boosts the argument of the Premier League is the Super League if more money comes in the league. So, and for me, his manifesto, he already outlined everything that we all want to hear. Debt-free football club, and that's for life. That's not for a period of time, and then we'll things like that. We'll do a stadium, and all this about the sort of things to do with women and LGBTQ rights and things like that. That's in their country. They're accepted. They've already invested in the British economy and the British value, and they've accepted the British values. And at the end of the day, if they're willing to invest in the economy, they will be willing to invest in the Premier League. And if they invest in the Premier League club of Manchester United, they'll invest in a women's team, a youth team, and all of these different factors. And I look at the Qatari bid; it outlined everything that we wanted. So Jim, it was almost as if he was trying to write a love story about all the football fans, put Manchester back into Manchester United and things like that. You're basically trying to write a love story instead of actually outlining what you're going to do or whatever. Qatar was, here's the money. We're prepared to move around and everything, but just as a final point to say where this process will lead to, effectively you have more rounds of bidding now. All of the parties that have bidded before that soft deadline get full access to data, financial records, everything, and then they will be able to determine 100% their valuation of the football club based on the financial records. And then they can, whatever they bidded initially before the deadline, so in Qatar's case, if it was £4.5 billion, so Jim was maybe £4 billion, depending on when they've looked at the credibility of the financials, they can decide if they want to drop their price or if they want to increase their price or if they want to stick and try and negotiate the Glazer family down. So at the end of the day, it's all about negotiation and it's all about the right price. For
Right.
me, it's going to Qatar. That's all I'm going to say. You
Okay.
go on, Nuruddin. Let's hear you.
For me, I never believed once. I don't believe psychopaths. I've got too much PTSD. I follow the Glazers closely. I was at the first protest. I nearly got murdered. Well, not murdered, but I could have died because the policeman swung at me and missed a couple of times. And some of you guys want to know how the Glazers took over Man United, it was a full-on riot when they came to Old Trafford, and they had to be police escorted out of Old Trafford. So you can find it on YouTube. Just go and check it out. I never believed the word that they say, and that's why I never allowed myself to get giddy. And at the end, I've been doing everything to make sure the fan base don't get excited. All of a sudden, Qatari bid because it's what we desire. And then our bias or our hatred of the Glazers comes. But the facts on the reality is that nobody's bought Man United. Man United is still owned by the Glazers. Until the day I see it, I have to believe it. I have to see it to believe it. And I stay put to that. And what I'm hearing in the last couple of days, 2-3 days, for me, that's something I always talked about. And that was a suspicion. And it looks like some of that is coming true. So I don't see them, especially Avram and Joe, selling Manchester United when they had told people, and this is not me saying it, they've told people they think they can get 10 billion for Manchester United in the future. That's what they've said to people. And that's the type of psychopathic mentality they're thinking. The idea that they could get 6 billion tax-free, majority because Man United are registered in the Cayman Islands, and them hiring a sporting director, team viewers back in the good books now, all of these don't make sense to me. And the biggest thing for me, I always stay with my gut. When something don't smell right, I'm always... Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't tell you. Nobody can have... And none of these journalists, nobody can tell us what's going to happen. But something fishy is going on, and I don't trust the Glazers as far as I can throw them. If they could get their investment that they've been searching for the past couple of years, if they could get some of that because of the hype they created and all of that, they will do it and they will stay.
But if they were to sell, though, who would you go?
In terms of what to sell, for me, the biggest disqualifier is no debt. So if for me, it could be Qatar. If somebody else comes out, a consortium of billionaires or whoever they are comes out and says, Man United not going to be in debt, then for me, that gets you through the gate. It gets you through. Who would I preferably like you on Man United? Man United fans. That is number one.
Yeah, but that's never going to happen now.
When I lived in Germany, I see how much integrated these football clubs are in the communities where the football club is based, and it's next level. It's absolutely next level. So for me, so I'm not just saying Qatar for Qatar's sake because I'm warning about Qatar as well, people. I see what Qatar has done with Paris Saint-Germain. I don't like their model. I don't like the way they run things. I don't want Man United to be getting Mbappe and then Mbappe thinking that he's all this and that, and managers getting sacked right, left, and centre. And then maybe Neymar comes and Neymar wants to go to Brazil every month in January to go to the carnival, and that all he has to do is ask the guy, Jasmine, that's all he has to ask. That's all he's got to ask the owner and say, "Can I go there?" And then they'll be like, "Yeah." Undermining managers. I do not want that. I do not want that. None of them are going to be perfect. There's no perfect owners in football, especially the way what the Glazers have done to Manchester United. So I don't believe the Glazers are going until I see otherwise with my own two eyes. I don't. I'm sorry. I do not. Some of you guys believe in all these things, but the things that what I've always suspected was the Americans to come in, and if they're going to sell, they're going to sell to Americans. That's what I believe, because I stayed with the original article, because that was somebody that gave the inside tip on what was going on. So that's me. But anyway, guys, we've been talking about this for 1 hour and 43 minutes. Big up to every one of you. It's past 12 o'clock. Apologize to everybody here who's got to get up tomorrow and work. But big up to every one of you. And we say, Glazers out, bankers out. What's coming out from Manchester United? What's coming out from these? What I'm reading, what people are telling me, Glazers look like do not want to sell. They do not want to sell. And if they want to sell, they're going to ask for some ludicrous price. Ludicrous price. But for me, it's not. And the fact that the fans are divided, I actually think some fans are already saying they don't want Qatar. They'd rather have Glazers stay in. I mean, if you looked at some of the voting, 1.something% of fans who call themselves United fans said they'd rather have Glazers stay. Which is just, I'm dumbfounded. I'm absolutely dumbfounded because of the xenophobia or the Islamophobia or whatever it is. Because because Sky are pushing Qatar to get the clickbait. That Sky Kev, whatever his name is, he's never had it so good where he's literally
Kaveh Solokov, is that who you're about?
he's talking about it every minute because why? The clicks are there. Clicks are there. The same thing with the Bloomberg. The buzz that this has created, they said they want to sell. It's incredible for me. Big up Irfan if that's the Irfan. Fans are divided. Half think Glazers will sell, half think not. There you go. There you go. But big up people. To me, I don't trust vultures. I've never trusted vultures, and I will never trust them ever again. But for me, it's about anybody who says no debt, and you have to have at least 2 to 3 billion to invest in the next 7 to 8 years in the football club and the football structure. If you don't have that, then that disqualifies you. And I don't care where you're from, Timbuktu or Qatar, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. I don't care where you're from. I don't care. That don't matter to me. What matters to me is that debt. I don't want to hear any debt. I don't want to hear the company's taking on debt. No, zilch. And I want Man United to be taken off the stock exchange.
We never want to hear those words again about debt at this football club. At the end of the day.
Those words are accounted.
Extinct. They're extinct.
I don't want to hear about stock exchange. I don't want to hear about a stock market. I don't want to hear about JP Morgan or any of that shit, man. Like, please, just
listen. If people basically take people's names and their photos and then start doing this, that's what happens. So honestly, there's going to be an Irfan parody account very soon. Somebody showed me my account. I've got apparently another parody account. Somebody's pretending to be me on Twitter. American Twitter, apparently. Brilliant. Brilliant. But anyway,
Neil Ashton for you.
Big up Tom. Big up Bumbaye. Big up Malcolm. Here we go. Quickly to follow Tom Journalist 1. Tom has been across this Man United takeover business, so make sure you give him a follow, people. Tom Journalist 1. Bumbaye, you can always find him in here. Mighty Mundo never tweets anything anyway on Twitter. I don't know why even on Twitter. And big up Malcolm Kesa. So go and check him out. All right, love and light, people, and check out Irfan if that's the real Irfan. Irfan Rainey on Instagram, Irfan Rainey on Twitter. But big up, people. Take care. Yeah, somebody is apparently, yeah, and somebody apparently's got a channel similar name as well. But it is what it is. Big up. Win, lose or draw. Glazers out. Bank us out. Take care, people. Cheerio. Good night.
See, they can't do a parody of me because I don't.